Okay, so the leaks for chapter 285 of My Hero Academia have just come out, and I gotta say, this chapter may have altered the course of this series forever. It raises so many questions about the fate of Bakugo, not to mention the true nature of One For All, and also whether Deku will ever use his arms again. In this video, I'll be taking you through most of the leaked panels. However, make sure you subscribe because, as usual, I'll be doing a detailed breakdown of the official chapter when that comes out. Okay, so everything kicks off with Deku flashing back to after his fight with Muscular, in which the doctor explicitly told him that he could lose control of his arms if he keeps getting injured like that. To be more specific, Midoriya was told that his ligaments had already deteriorated really badly, and his medical charts made it look like a bomb had exploded inside him. Bearing that in mind, we see Midoriya in the present day going full kamikaze and just unleashing several consecutive smashes on Shigaraki. We get the classic Detroit smash, as well as the Wyoming smash, which we saw for the first time a few chapters ago, and also a Texas smash for good measure. Now, at the end of chapter 284, Izuku did say that he didn't care what happened to him, but I'm gonna be honest, I personally didn't think he would take it this far. Shigaraki acknowledges that the damage that Deku is dealing right now is surpassing what his regeneration is capable of. According to the unofficial translation, Shigaraki tells Midoriya that he's getting in the way of his evil dreams, to which Deku replies, "That's the reason I have this power." We see Deku flinging Shigaraki around with Black Whip with his left arm, and then his right arm just looks wrecked beyond words. Like, honestly, when you see the official translations and the official chapter, his arm's not being used again unless Eri pulls through, or unless he gets a robotic arm or something. Like, he's just not going to be using this thing anytime soon. Back down on the ground, Bakugo hatches a solid plan to finish Shigaraki off by using his explosions to bring Endeavor into the sky, at which point the number one hero will unleash his Prominence Burn, which obviously he used to finish off the Nomu as well. According to Endeavor, his highest firepower will eliminate Shigaraki, and so Bakugo requests that Shoto uses his ice to keep his dad cooled down until the very last minute. As the three of them jet off into the sky, you can see the fear in Rocklock's eyes because, as we all know, Rocklock, he's all about protecting the youth, keeping the kids away from danger, and right now, from his perspective, it must seem like the kids are actively trying to die. Bakugo pulls Endeavor and Shoto towards the sky, and the number one says that once he gets closer to Shigaraki, the two students should leave so that they aren't caught in the blast radius. He also has a plan for Deku to avoid the blast as well, because I don't think he wants to kill a student, but we'll get to that in a bit. Whilst this is happening, we get a brief flashback at this moment to Bakugo's discussion with All Might in the gym, and yeah, again, All Might says that there are things he can't confirm about One For All, which is along the lines of what he said in the last chapter as well. It then flashes back to a different time, and according to the rough translations, Bakugo is essentially saying that One For All is the same as All For One because it derives from AFO himself. If this wording is accurate, then I wonder if this is Horikoshi's subtle way of foreshadowing that One For All may have the power to take quirks like All For One. After all, in my opinion at least, by the end of this series, Shigaraki either has to be dead or quirkless. I just don't see any other path beyond those two options. So maybe if Deku one day has the power to take quirks, then that could make things quite interesting between the two of them. As they approach Shigaraki in the present day, Endeavor jets off ahead of Bakugo and Shoto and grabs Shigaraki by the arms in a way that prevents the villain from decaying him. At this point, Deku is still holding onto Shigaraki with Black Whip from a distance, and Endeavor just yells at him to stay back before unleashing a close-range Prominence Burn which, is gonna fry Shigaraki. We can see that Shiggy is properly burning up, but then something super weird happens as the consciousness of All For One appears yet again in Shigaraki's mind and says, "Lend me your body, little brother." Shigaraki then activates Force Quirk activation, with the tentacles forcefully stabbing Endeavor through the torso, causing him to spit out blood. At this point, Shigaraki does not even look human because Endeavor's basically burned off all of his skin, and these tentacles on his back that almost reminds me of Dr. Octopus from Spider-Man, and they head straight towards Deku. I assume the intention is that once the tentacles touch Deku, they can forcefully activate his quirk and then initiate the transfer of One For All to Shigaraki. What I didn't understand though was why All For One's consciousness was saying, "Lend me your body, little brother." Like, that kind of implies that all of this is just some elaborate plot by All For One to get a new body. But at the same time, couldn't Dr. Garaki just make him a new body in the same way he did for Shigaraki? I don't know, let me know your thoughts down below. What is All For One trying to achieve right now? The chapter ends with Bakugo's most heroic moment in the series to date, which is the reason this chapter is literally called Bakugo Rising. As the forced quirk activation heads towards Deku, Bakugo's body moves without hesitation and his explosions propel him towards Midoriya. His life essentially flashes before his eyes as we see a bunch of flashbacks over the years, including him and Deku in middle school together and their fight at UA, and also when they were on punishment together as well. When we cast our minds back to one of the earlier chapters, we saw that at the beginning of the war, Bakugo's mom was like reading a picture book, like a memory book of Bakugo, which is obviously a massive death flag. And now in this moment, he's looking back at previous moments in his life with Deku. I mean, major death flags everywhere. In a last-ditch attempt to save his friend, he pushes Deku out the way and then takes the full force of Shigaraki as these force quirk activation tentacles pierce through his stomach and shoulder and then come out on the other side of his body. This is a serious injury, and I find it unlikely that Horikoshi would kill off Bakugo this early, but after seeing this panel, I don't think anyone could say it's impossible, especially with what I just mentioned. In this moment, Bakugo did exactly what All Might said makes a hero great, in that his body moved without thinking to save the life of another person. Just as Deku tried to do for him all that time ago, Bakugo is now repaying him, and in many ways you could say this is Bakugo coming full circle. In the last chapter, it was basically confirmed that by him helping Deku to master his new quirks, that's basically his way of saying sorry for bullying you. And now in this chapter, he takes the full force of this crazy villain. Clearly, Bakugo, his character is evolving a lot right now, and I don't think that right now is the time to kill him, just as he's becoming this essentially almost like a new person. But with that said, that was everything I had for this spoiler overview. Like I've said a million times, I'll be doing the breakdown officially on Sunday or Monday, so be sure to turn on notifications and stick around for that. And until the next one, peace out.